my young daughter asked me, "Mom, do adults bully too?" And I had to tell her yes. Bullies come in all shapes and sizes. So here's the thing, whether it's verbal, physical or emotional, bullying is never okay. And today we're tackling one of the most damaging behaviors out there, bullying.
Manners on the go.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Manners on the Go. If you've been following along, you know we began a series that looks into some pretty tricky topics around workplace behaviors. And today we're tackling one of the most damaging behaviors out there, bullying. Yeah, we're going there. You know, while I was preparing for this recording, my young daughter asked me, "Mom, do adults bully too?" And I had to tell her yes. When we think of bullies, many of us picture that mean kid on the playground. But here's the reality. Bullying doesn't stop when we grow up. It shows up in workplaces more often than you might think. And it can come from anyone. A boss, a colleague, even someone in a junior position. Bullies come in all shapes and sizes, and they act out for different reasons. Maybe they feel insecure or inadequate, or the only way they know how to cope is by trying to control others. Or perhaps it's a power trip. They think that by belittling or intimidating their colleagues, they are asserting some kind of dominance. So how do these bullies operate? Well, bullying in the workplace can take several forms and it's not always obvious. Let's start with verbal bullying. This is probably the most common type and also the easiest to overlook because words can be subtle, right? It can show up as constant sarcasm, mockery, or even jokes that really aren't funny. Then there's humiliation, negative criticisms that's never constructive, and threats, whether they're direct or veiled. Trust me, it can weigh a person down over time. But it doesn't stop there. Bullying can also be physical. Though it's less common in the workplace compared to verbal bullying, physical bullying might not always mean someone shoving you in the passageway, but it can show up in more subtle ways. Think about someone using body language to intimidate, standing too close, hovering over your desk, or blocking your way in the room. Is that aggressive posture that makes you feel on edge? And then we have emotional bullying. This one's tricky because it creates an environment where you feel isolated, ignored, or even fearful. Sometimes it's just cold indifference, like your ideas don't matter. Or jealousy, where someone constantly undermines your successes because they are threatened. So here's the thing, whether it's verbal, physical, or emotional, bullying is never okay. It doesn't just affect the person being bullied, it creates a toxic environment where morale plummets and trust erodes. Eventually, folks start looking for the exit. And honestly, who could blame them? The impact of bullying can be severe. It doesn't just hurt the person at the receiving end. It affects the entire team. When people feel unsafe or unwelcome, productivity drops, creativity dries up, and eventually companies lose their best talents. So how do we deal with bullies in the workplace? I get it, it can be scary to confront someone when they seem to hold all the power. But here's the truth. Staying silent only gives them more power. The first step? Speak up. And I know it's easier said than done, but not saying anything only allows this behavior to continue. You don't have to confront them dramatically. It can be as simple as saying something like, "Sir, ma'am, the way you're speaking to me isn't okay." Or, "I didn't appreciate that comment." You know, sometimes just standing your ground is enough to make them think twice. Now, if the bullying persists, you want to make sure you are documenting everything. Trust me, keeping a record of incidents can be a lifesaver if things escalate or you need to bring it to HR or management. Write down dates, times, what was said, how it made you feel. The more detailed, the better. And speaking of HR, don't be afraid to ask for help. That's what they're there for. If you've tried addressing the issue yourself and nothing has changed, it's time to escalate. And look, if your workplace doesn't take these issues seriously, that's a whole other problem. But that's for another video. At the end of the day, no one should feel bullied or intimidated at work. It's a place where we spend a chunk of our lives, and we all deserve to feel respected and safe. Now, I know some of you watching may have dealt with workplace bullying before, or maybe you're going through it right now. I'd love to hear your experiences. What's worked for you? What didn't? Let's share stories and help each other navigate this tricky terrain. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your voice matters. Alright, that's all for today. In our next video, we'll be talking about another difficult behavior, the office matter. You know, the person who always seems to sacrifice themselves for the team. but not without making sure everyone knows about it. It's going to be a good one, so make sure you tune in. Until then, remember to keep your manners sharp and your confidence sharper. I'm Tosin Babasaya Craig, and this is Manners on the Go. See you again. Goodbye.
Manners on the Go.